When we start talking about pressure, we're going to be talking about pressure in two different units. The PSI, which is the pound or pounds per inch squared. So this is going to be our unit of area, the inches squared. The other unit is called the Pascal, and that's the scientific or the SI system, and that's going to be in units called newtons per meter squared. And in this video, what I'd like to do is show the relationship between the inch squared and the meter squared. So what I want to do is, let's say I have some surface area. Let's say, so here's my surface, which I'll represent like this. And let's say that this surface is 1 meter by 1 meter. So that the area of this in terms of meters is going to be 1 meter times 1 meter, or 1 meter squared. What I'd like to do is convert this 1 meter squared over to units of inches squared. And I want to go through this conversion as if I didn't, basically just from the beginning. Alright, so here's how I'm going to do it, just by knowing a few conversion factors, or excuse me, unit relationships. So I know how to go from units of meters to units of inches. All right, I don't know a direct, and I didn't mean inches squared. I know how to go. All right, so I know how to go from units of meters to units of inches. All right, I don't know a direct relationship, but I do know that if I go from meters to centimeters, I can go from centimeters then to inches. I know a nice linear relationship to do that, and I'm just going to summarize two of the things that I know for certain. I know 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, and I know 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. So these are my linear relationships, all right? These are my linear unit relationships, and I'm going to use these linear relationships to convert this area of meters over to areas in inches squared. All right, and that's going to be my goal for this video. So let's see how that's done. So I have 1 meter squared. And this is a straightforward area conversion. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by 1 meter on the bottom equals 100 cm. Now I can't just do that. The big important step here is I square this entire linear conversion factor. So I got to square this conversion factor to make it from a linear conversion factor to an area conversion factor. Now when I do that, I'm going to get 1 meter squared times 100, and I'm going to emphasize the squared by using a different color, times cm squared. Divide that out by 1 meter squared. And now, one of the things that I want to really emphasize is now this unit of meter squared cancels out with this unit of meter squared. And when I do that, I get 100 squared cm squared. And now I'm ready to take this from units of centimeters squared over to units of inches squared. So to do that, I'll do that in one more step. And if you really wanted to do this out right away, I know that 10 squared is 100, so 100 squared is 10 to the fourth. So this is going to be, so 100 squared equals 10 to the fourth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 to the fourth cm squared, and I'm going to convert that over to inches squared. And so I know that 2.54 cm equals 1 inch. And again, I need to square this entire conversion factor. All right. And now when I do that, I'm going to get 10 to the fourth cm squared times 1 inch squared divided by, and I'm just going to emphasize this by putting this in a slightly different color, 2.54 cm squared times cm squared. And now when I do that, notice that my units of cm squared cancel out, and I'm left with units of inches squared. And so now the next step is to take 10 to the fourth multiply it by everything in the numerator. In this case, it's going to be 10 to the fourth times inches squared. Divide by everything in the denominator, which is only going to be 2.54 squared. And now when I simplify that out, I'm going to get 10 to the fourth divided by 2.54 squared, which works out to be about 3,937 inches squared. So this is my final unit, and I'm going to square or box that. So to summarize what I just found, all right, I just figured out that 1 meter squared equals 3,937 inches squared. Now, a lot of people get a little bit confused as to what that really means. So imagine going back to my original 1 by 1 meter squared rectangle. That means, if you think of like a meter would, let's say a meter is this long, an inch is about that long right there. And so then when you square it, these units of inches are about like that big in comparison to the entire square. So it would take 3,937 1 by 1 inch squares, or inch squared, to fill up this entire 1 meter squared area. Now, there's one last thing I want to say about this problem, because we did this problem out in two separate steps. So what I'd like to do is go and do this problem basically in two steps back to back. So I said I had 1 meter squared, and I'm going to just do all of the conversion steps out in one quick two-step part. So I know 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Now I got to square the entire conversion factor, so I need to emphasize that. And then I'm going to multiply that by, once I have a cm squared, I'm going to put 2.54 cm squared over 1 inch, and then I need to square the entire thing. And now when I actually do this out, I'm going to get 100 squared. Now this unit of meter squared will cancel out with this unit of meter squared, and then I'll be left with just a centimeter squared. So I'm going to cancel this out with this unit of centimeter squared, and I'll be left with units of inches squared divided by 2.54 cm, oops, no cm on the bottom, just 2.54 squared. And when I get that, or do that out, it will work out to be 3,937 inches squared. And that's how you do this problem out a little bit more quickly.